Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Alecia. Today I am going to be sharing my Kindle Unlimited Fall TBR. Basically the books I've picked out on Kindle Unlimited that I think will give me the perfect mix of cozy, spooky, and a little bit of romance vibes. I picked out 9 books on Kindle Unlimited that I really want to get read, preferably by the end of October, I would say. Some are dark fantasy, we've got a thriller, and we've got some cozy romance thrown in as well. But the thing that ties them all together is that they all scream fall vibes to me. So let's get into each of the books and I'll tell you guys what they are, what they're kind of about, and why they ended up on my fall TBR. So the first one on my list is the Book of Azriel, which is the first book in the Gods of Monsters series by Amber V. Nicole. This is the first one I added because I have been hearing so many people talk about it online and raving about it, and I love a good romantasy, which it kind of seems like it's gonna be that. So for me, this one was automatic. I need to read it during this season because I want to read it this year. Just everyone keeps talking about it, hyping it up, and I'm like, I need to experience this immediately. So cannot wait to read this one. World Ender meets Ender of Worlds. 1,000 years ago, Diana gave up her life in the deserts of Eroria to save her dying sister. She called upon anyone who would listen, not expecting a monster far worse than any nightmare to answer. Now she does what Caden asks, even if that means securing an ancient relic from the very creatures that hunt her. A king thought long dead and long forgotten. In the old world, his name was Samkiel? In the new world, it's Liam. But one title remains true throughout time. He is the World Ender, a myth to his enemies, a savior and king to those loyal to him. After the gods' war, he locked himself away, hiding from the world. He denied his crown and responsibilities, leaving the very ones who needed him most to deal with the fallout of the death of their home world. Now, an attack on those he holds dear sends him back to the one realm he never wished to visit again, and into the sights of an enemy he thought imprisoned eons ago. So honestly, this just sounds like kind of a big sweeping fantasy that I am dying to dive into, and it also screams romance as well, which from the people that I have heard hype this book, they are fans of romantasy, so I'm hoping that's the vibes. I'm really excited. I hope it doesn't disappoint. Next up we have The Coven, which is the first book in Coven of Bones series by Harper L. Woods. I love L. Woods. I love that. That's so cute. What, like it's hard? So obviously I did have to put at least one witchy book on here. Like, are you kidding me? It's fall. Raised to be my father's weapon against the coven that took away his sister and his birthright. I would do anything to protect my younger brother from suffering the same fate. My duty forces me to the secret town of Crystal Hollow and the prestigious Hollows Grove University, where the best and brightest of my kind learn to practice their magic, free from human judgment. There are no whispered words here, no condemnation for the blood that flows through my veins. The only animosity I face comes from the beautiful and infuriating headmaster, Alaric Grayson Thorne. A man who despises me just as much as I loathe him and everything he stands for. But that doesn't mean secrets don't threaten to tear the school in two. No one talks about the bloody massacre that forced it to close decades prior. Only the opportunity it can afford to those fortunate enough to attend. Because for the first time in 50 years, the Coven will open its wards to the 13 promising students destined to change the world, if the ghosts of Hollows Grove's victims don't kill them first. That one sounds so good. It sounds like dark academia meets witches meets spooky. Like I'm so excited for that one. Next up we have Nocticadia by Carrie Lake and Julie Belfield. This one and the Book of Azriel have been the ones that I feel like I've heard the most about when it comes to read these during spooky season, so that's why they're both on my spooky TBR. So that's why I picked this one, was because one, the cover is absolutely beautiful and I want to own it physically, but I'm also like, don't waste your Kindle Unlimited. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I don't even have that much space for books where I live right now. Like I only have this one bookshelf back there, and also like if it's available on Kindle Unlimited, why not just read it there? So that's why it's on my Kindle Unlimited list, but I really want to get to it because it sounds so good. After watching my mother succumb to a mysterious illness, I promised myself 2 things. I'd find the cure for what ravaged her and leave the godforsaken city where she abandoned me. 4 years later, I received an acceptance letter from Nocticadia University, one of the oldest, most prestigious schools in the country. Nestled on a secluded island off the coast of Maine, it's rumored to be haunted by the souls of the mental patients exiled there centuries before. Oh my gosh, this sounds so good. Those whose bones are said to make up the island's white sandy shores and and restless ghosts aren't even its most daunting peculiarity. Deverick Bromwell, known on campus as Dr. Death, is a brilliant pathologist in charge of the Midnight Lab. He's also my devastatingly handsome professor. I've been a fan of professor-student relationships in fiction, obviously. In fiction. I've been a fan of them since Pretty Little Liars. Ezra and Arya, forever. Forever. Anyways, back to the matter at hand. He's also my devastatingly handsome professor who seems to loathe tenacious first years like me, except his dark and enigmatic gaze tells me all the ways he'd devour me if given the chance. And his stolen kisses burn my lips with forbidden jealousy. I crave his authority. He aches for redemption. Together we're toxic, delicious fodder for the prying eyes hell-bent on exhuming the rotted skeletons of our past. For the dead have much to teach, and it's only a matter of time before Nocticadia's most depraved secret is resurrected. Need I say more? Need I say more? Oh my God. This one, I feel like I want to read by candlelight. Like, it just sounds so atmospheric and so dark academia, but also dark romance. I'm so excited. Next up, we have Phantasma, which is also, I would say Phantasma, the Book of Azriel, and Nocticadia. I would say those three are the ones that I literally put on my list based off of just hearing so many other people online talk about them. This one is a YA fantasy, but it leans more paranormal. So when Ophelia's sister disappears, there's only one way to save her. Ophelia must enter Phantasma, a deadly contest inside a haunted mansion, and claim its prize, a single wish. Phantasma is a maze of twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms, of demons and temptations. Ophelia will face 9 challenges, each more dangerous than the last. There can only be one winner, and the other contestants will stop at nothing to eliminate their rivals. Every day the house creates new monsters, but just as Ophelia's fears threaten to overwhelm her, a mysterious stranger offers her a bargain. Charming, arrogant, and infuriatingly attractive, Blackwell claims he can guide her through the lethal trials ahead. All he asks in return is 10 years of her life. Ophelia knows she shouldn't trust him. Blackwell doesn't seem dangerous, but appearances can be deceptive. Worse still, she feels a dark and irresistible attraction drawing them closer and closer. Her life is on the line, but in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. This sounds so good, and I still have not read Caraval, and people say it's like a darker version of Caraval. Oh, I feel like I've heard, which I haven't read Caraval, but I've been meaning to. It definitely sounds like something right up my alley, like fantasy and romance, and I don't mind that it's a YA. Next, we have a thriller that I discovered while just looking through Kindle Unlimited stuff that sounded really, really good, and I love a good thriller. 3 women, 3 smoldering secrets. Who will make it out alive? It's November 5th, and a woman awakens to a nightmare. Bound and gagged, she lies trapped in the heart of a towering bonfire. As the smoke thickens, panic sets in. She's moments away from being engulfed in flames. How did it come to this? Rewind 11 months. Margot, a faded TV star, and her long-suffering friend Anna watch as glamorous Liv and her flawless family move into their street. The 3 women soon fabricate the perfect pretense of friendship, but each harbors her own deadly secret. And newcomer Liv senses something is terribly wrong beneath the polished exteriors. As cracks widen in the veneer of perfection and lies escalate out of control, tension ignites. Bonfire night is approaching and someone is set to burn. But who will it be? So this sounds super twisty, and I feel like most thrillers are perfect for fall time because they're spooky. You know what I mean? Like, spooky stuff happens, and I honestly need to find more thrillers I feel like to put on my fall TBR, but for now that's kind of the one that stuck out to me. Then we have Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This one I don't know much about, but the cover gave me all the fall vibes and fantasy, and I have been craving a good fantasy read, and now that it's fall, I just feel like it's the perfect time. So this one really stood out to me because of the cover. The gods sent monsters to the 5 kingdoms to remind mortals they must kneel. I've spent my life kneeling, to their will and to my father's. As a princess, my only duty is to wear the crown and obey the king. I was never meant to rule, never meant to fight, and I was never supposed to be the daughter who sealed an ancient treaty with her own blood. Get it, girl? But that changed the fateful day I stepped into my father's throne room. The day a legendary monster hunter sailed to our shores. The day a prince ruined my life. Now I'm crossing treacherous lands beside a warrior who despises me as much as I despise him. Bound to a future I didn't choose and a husband I barely know. Everyone wants me to be something something I'm not. Queen, a spy, a sacrifice. But what if I refused the role chosen for me? What if I made my own rules? What if there's power in being underestimated? And what if, for the first time, I reached for it? This sounds so good. This sounds like a fantasy that I would absolutely enjoy, so I can't wait for that one. These next ones kind of focus more on the cozy side of things. So the next one is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. I did not read this one last year when it was super popular, super hyped up. Everybody was talking about it on BookTube, and I never read it because to me it sounded like it was a little too fluffy for me. I have to admit that the cover and like what the story is about, it does make me want to go out, get a pumpkin spice latte, come home and just read this for a day. You know what I mean? So I think this is on my list as like, if I have time for just a cozy reading day, this is the one that I want to read. When Jeannie's aunt gifts her the beloved Pumpkin Spice Cafe in the small town of Dream Harbor, Jeannie jumps at the chance for a fresh start away from her very dull desk job. Logan is a local farmer who avoids Dream Harbor's gossip at all costs, but Jeannie's arrival disrupts Logan's routine, and he wants nothing to do with the irritatingly upbeat new girl, except that he finds himself inexplicably drawn to her. I do love that, though. I love a grumpy meets sunshine. Will Jeannie's happy-go-lucky attitude win over the grumpy but gorgeous Logan, or has this city girl found the one person in town who won't fall for her charm or her pumpkin spice lattes? Like, I think this will be perfect for when I just need a very light, cozy read. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's not pretending to be a book that it's not. I don't know, you know, hopefully I like it. And I can always, the nice thing about the Kindle Unlimited books too, is that I didn't pay for them technically. So like, obviously you pay monthly for the ability to access everything on Kindle Unlimited, but like I can start it. And if I really just think it's too fluffy and I'm not into it, I didn't pay any money. You know what I mean? So that's nice. And then the next one on my list is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name, but this one has been everywhere. Like, again, I hear everyone talk about this one, or at least the booktubers that I watch, they pretty much have all talked about this one. Assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror, and other dark things in general. Discretion a must. Excellent benefits. With ailing family to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renadon's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally, she says yes. No job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie, but just when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind, because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. That one just sounds so fun. Like, and everyone I've heard talk about it says it's funny and cute, and it's just a lighthearted romance, which I love when a romance is also super funny, so I'm here for it. Then we have Hunt by Meg Alivian, which I recently read the first book in this specific series called Howl, and it was a friends to lovers werewolf romance. And the next book in the series by her is called Hunt, which is the one that's on my TBR for fall. And it's an enemies to lovers vampire romance. Aiden Ward is your typical moody vampire. He's had 104 years to grow comfortable with being alone, but recently that emptiness has become all-consuming. That is, until an outspoken and spunky human forces her way into his life. Joanna Nelson just won't seem to go away. She's everywhere he goes, but pretending she's just an annoyance is getting harder the more time they spend together. Joanna is also familiar with loneliness. She hasn't had the best of luck when it comes to dating, and as much as she tries to hide it with an overly confident exterior, inside she's been hoping to find her soulmate. Oh, one would think they'd be a match made in heaven. Too bad Aiden ages 10 times slower than the average human, and he refuses to place such a burden on a partner. Guess that leaves only one option: friends with benefits. But what if friendship is really just a distraction from their true feelings? Could a relationship like theirs actually work out? I'm so excited because I loved Howl. It was the coziest thing ever, and the only thing missing from it for me personally was there wasn't any enemies to lovers, because it was friends to lovers, and I just prefer enemies to lovers covers. So I'm thinking this one's gonna be even better, and I am so excited for it. So that's my Kindle Unlimited Fall TBR. I think it's got a nice mix of fantasy, thriller, cozy, spooky romance. I'm here for it. And I can't wait to see which one of these ends up being my new favorite read. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books. And also let me know if you have read any of these books, which one do you think I should start with? And if you've got any good fall Kindle Unlimited recs, please leave them in the comments because I am always looking for more. And thanks again for hanging out with me today, you guys. I love you so much. Definitely give this video a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!